So once we have that, then let's just leave the body for now. Let's leave the body. Let's just leave this for now. Okay, let's not leave it. Let's just say, let us have something that's a button that we can use to close the pop-up. So let's create a div for that. So when you have a div in HTML, each div is just like a container to house elements. So just like division, I want to put this in a division, I want to put this in another division. So the way you see opening and closing tag, just a conventional compartment in HTML is div. Then you have this div, so let's just give it a class name from Bootstrap. Then let's say text end, so meaning that it will take it to the extreme end of the column. So text end. Then inside that text end, I want to have a button. Don't forget, when you don't know any of these things, just go to documentation and check for them. You will see more on them. So then we have in the button, let's just have a variant to be light. That means we don't want it to have a background. So also let's have a class name to set the padding top, bottom, right, left to maybe 2. Then let us have on click. That means when I click that particular button, what will happen? Then I want to set an arrow function that sets that set modal to false, meaning that once I click on that particular button, this particular true or false element, I want to set it to false so that it will close this pop-up. And once I've been able to do that, let me just put X here so that the user will know that I want them, once they click that button, I want them to close the pop-up. So just one is fine. And once we have been able to do that, I think we should then see how our modal is opening and closing. So let us save this. Let us remove this footer. Remove the footer. So I just need the body so that we keep it simple. Now let's go to the home page. You can see that we are passing some parameters. Into the component. Like if you see it here, we are passing parameter start modal. We are passing another parameter start modal. I also passing another parameter start shipment. So we want to update it accordingly. So how do you pass parameter? You take parameter from the parent component, and you can only pass parameters from the parent to the child. You cannot pass from the child to the parent. So now this is the parent, the home page. So we want to pass the parameter from the parent to the child element. So once to do that, all you just need to do is to look at the name. The name must be the same. So I'll just copy these 3 names. Then I'll come to my home page. Then I'll paste it. So this is 1. This is another one. This is another one. At this point, there's a particular element that we are going to be looking at, which is the useState hook. And according to W3 School, is telling us that the React useState hook allows us to track state in a function component. State generally refer to data or property that need to be tracking in an application. And when you import useState, so you just first import it. You can see you import it from React, which you are going to be seeing in action very soon. Then you use it. You can see you use it. So when you need to update an element, that is when you use the useState React hook, meaning that at one point or the other in my application, I want the variable to be updated. So that is when I use the useState. So if you look at this now, for example, this is how you have called the hook from React. So once you have been able to call it, then you then declare it color, set color, useState this. So that means that this is the variable name. The variable name is actually color. So in the initial value is this empty string. And when you want to update it, maybe you want to update it to blue, then all you just need to do is just to call this function. This function is used to update it. If you want to use the value of the variable, then you use this particular one. But if you want to update it, then you use this particular function to update it. So you are going to be seeing that in action very soon. Let's see if they still go ahead to, you can see this is where they are using it. Initially now they are not setting to empty string, they are setting it to red. Now when they want to update it, you can see now they are updating it here. From initially it was set to red. So if you call this color variable initially now, it will be red. But now when you click on this particular button, it will now set it to blue. You can see. So if you, at that point when they are using this color now, instead of it to be red as it was initially set to, it will now be blue. So let's see that in action with our own use case. So the first thing is to import it as usual based on what you are seeing. So import useState, just to be able to update our variable. Don't forget where we always import it from. Import it from React. So once you have imported, then you then set the initial value. You set the initial value. So I'll just say const start model, start model. Then I'll set the initial value to be false, meaning that by default it should not open the pop-up. And then once I've been able to do that, then I should have a function. Let me remove this start shipment for now. We will get to that when we get to our backend. So let's just see how to open and close the pop-up for the model. Then once we have been able to do that, then I will just pass this start model. I'll pass it here. Then also this says start model. I will pass it also. I'll pass it here. So what I'm just doing here is just to make these values to be available inside this child component, so that if it is false, then this particular component will also see it as false. If it is a function where I want to be updating it, then this particular component will also be able to see it. So now let's now see how to make use of it inside our child component. So since we don't have this for now, let's just depend this till when we get to the core implementation. For now, let's deal with the user interface. So you can see here, if you want to show the model, so you just say start model, so which is what you are passing here. So if it is initially it is false, you can see we initially set it to false. So at this point it will not show. So when you want to hide it again, you also have a function here which we then say set the start model to false. Set it to false, and once you set it to false, it will close it. And if you want to show, what you just need to do is just that we are going to be seeing how to set it to show, because it is inside these services that we have the start shipment. So we should be able to pass this function to these services, so that when we click on the start shipment from that particular component, it will be able to set it to true and then bring up the model. And then let's just complete this first. So now we have this. Yeah, we are fine with that. Then also when we click the button, we want to set it to false, which is fine. And then let's now see how to bring up the pop-up. Let's see how to bring up the pop-up. So I'll just go in here. And then pass the particular function to the services file. So I'll just pass this particular function to the services file so that I should be able to, when I click on that particular button inside the services file or component, I want to be able to bring up the model. Then I'll just say set start model. Then I'll just set it to this. So that I'll be able to set it to true from inside this component. So since I'm passing this particular parameter to this component, you know how to receive it. So I'll just copy this value. So you need to copy because sometimes you might mistakenly set these things are case sensitive, and if you put it as capital letter when you're supposed to put it as small letter, it will give you error or it will not work the way you want it to work. So I'll just go and receive that parameter here. So to receive a parameter, you know this is a function. This is the function. So I'll just open a curly braces here. I'll just open a curly braces here and then paste the particular value. So once I paste that particular value, then I will go to the button that allow me to start shipment. You can see from my application, here we have an error at the moment. Okay, let's save it. The error should be gone. Let's just save it so that we see it in practical action. So yeah, you know how to fix this now. The use client. So I'll just use client here. So that's why when you see some error message several times, it becomes easier for you to fix. So I think that should solve the problem. Okay, page, yeah, that should be in the page file. So I'm using useState. useState is a client side rendering store. So I'll just save this, and that should be it. Oh, doing it wrongly. So we should have it now. So once I click this button, I want the model to come up. So you can see I've passed the variable to the services component. So I'll just come here to receive it. So this is the set start model. Then I'll just go ahead. This is the button that allows me to start shipment. So I will just set the parameter on click. That means once this button is clicked, I want something to happen. That means I want the model to come up. So I'll just say on click, then equals to curly braces, and I'll set this, not set the function, then I'll set it to true. So once I have that, then I can just, yeah. So we have this. So once we click on this start shipment, it will set this start model to true, meaning that it will bring it up. And once we click on that cancel button, it will close the model. So let's see if it is actually working the way we want it to work before we then go ahead to update the components of the model. So if you click on this, you can see you are reading the text in a model. And if I close it, you can see it's closed. If you click outside, close, open, close, open. Now we have been able to work on our start shipments model and open and close it, and it's working effectively.